Right guys, it's going to be chill casts with Senpai today. My voice is a little bit worn out, so I'm trying to put not too much pressure onto it, but unfortunately I got super busy at the end of the new year, so, well, the end of the old year for New Year, and it meant I didn't get a lot of time to do recordings in advance time. So now we're into the new year and I've got too many recordings to do and not enough time to do them, so even though I'm a little bit bunked up at the moment, there might be some sniffles. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to cast anyway, so I do apologise for that, folks, but we'll see how this goes. So we got Lunatic Red rocking the Chaos Sorcerer here, and he's going to be up against ArthurCloud, so this is going to be a nice soft cast for Saturday. A bit of a sloppy cast, one can imagine. I think the Heretics should lose the fight against the Hormagaunts here. They did get a bit of a nice engage. Genuinely ill-advised, really, to use the Doom Blaster when they did, I think. Especially given the Hormagaunts weren't mispositioned in any way, but there you go. So the Hormagaunts do beat the Heretics, and we're going to see the Termagants here forced off by the CSM. In fact, both the Termagants were. Doesn't look like any of the Doombots landed too flush. So the Lictor's going to pursue the CSM there, force them to take the garrison, but that's not going to be too consequential. You can't really do anything with them in the garrison right now. I'm a little bit confused as to why Arthur isn't building more generators right now. And the Hormagaunts secure one of the rec points, decap the mid-rep, well, mid-VP, jeez. Here we go, I might get into the swing of things soon. Bear with me. Okay, I mean, this is looking really bad for Arthur so far. I think his warrior timing was... I feel like he could have had another gen up earlier, to be honest. He's not bled too much. Let's see how he does when he gets the warriors out. The problem for him right now is that Luna is going for a spam of heretics, which... yeah, I mean... one would imagine that Arthur will end up going for the Bow Strangler Warrior Brood. The only problem there is that it's vulnerable to a teleporting Flame Sword Sorcerer. So we'll see if that's the kind of build that they end up going with. I don't know what this music is exactly. Bit of a strange one, this one, but... dual Heretics here should easily be able to dispatch the Hormagaunts. The Hormagaunts actually want to be very careful. Yeah, the Aspiring Champion was coming in anyway. That's actually really not needed. I wonder if we will see a Bow Strangler. I don't know if Luna has realized... sorry, if Arthur has realized that Luna is going triple Heretics. He must have seen that Heretic there, and he obviously seen two on this side, so he must realize, one would think, that he's facing triple Heretics. So he has to do something about that now. Termagants are okay, but, you know, if there's triple Heretics, you're going to need at least 3 Termagants. I mean, ideally you'd want 4 to counter them in any effective manner. So you're going to have to rely on alternative units, and an example of that would be Raveners, which are generally deemed pretty good anti-melee, because they've got that burst damage, they're really fast, they're okay in melee themselves, and they can actually really help your Hormagaunts and Warriors when they get in melee fights by burrowing on top of the enemy units, sending them flying with a guaranteed knockback. But you also have the Bow Strangler Warriors, you know, AoE suppression, particularly good against Heretics, because Heretics as a melee unit have such high model count that the AoE damage is actually quite significant on them, in a way that, you know, use Bow Stranglers against a hero like the Sorcerer, not going to be very powerful, is it? Let's see, a little bit of an attempted Doombots there. Does get some okay damage against the Warriors, nothing crazy. You see nice line of sight abuse from the Grenade Launcher Heretics here, of course able to shoot up and over here, unlike most conventional small arms, because they've got that Grenade Launcher upgrade. An interesting upgrade actually, that Grenade Launcher. I mean, it certainly helps the Heretics counter the Termagants quite well, but I don't really feel like the Termagants are providing that much of a threat right now. Arthur hasn't actually upgraded the Termagants to even have their toxic sacks yet, which I also find quite odd, but it's not like he isn't spending the money. Wow, look at the damage from the Bow Strangler there, just like a third of the HP of the Heretics gone from a clean hit from that Bow Strangler, and that is the power of it against the heretics. And that's one of the upgrades that Arthur has gone for. He's also got this Toxin miasma upgrade on the Elixir Alpha. It's an okay upgrade. I mean, it's the best DPS upgrade he has in Tier 1, but actually for 1v1ing heretics, the feeder tendrils would be better. Because the constant healing that you get from the feeder tendrils every time you attack, man, I don't even know. Well, I really don't think default heretics would even be able to out DPS the healing. AC ticks probably can, but not by a lot. Still, if you want to kill the Chaos Sorcerer or some CSM, Toxin Miasma is going to be very effective. And of course, even if you take a fight with the heretics, it's not that bad. You can probably kill 5 or 6 of them before you have to retreat. You don't bleed from taking a fight with your Lictor, whereas the heretics do. An attempted Doom Bolt's there, unfortunately hitting the terrain, not going to be able to save the CSM. Actually snags a CSM model before retreating. That's a great little pickup for Arthur there. Okay, gonna throw out a Flesh Hook. Doesn't hit the Aspiring Champion though, just kills one random heretic, which is not great. You know, 13 wreck, better than nothing, but probably not the best usage for the Flesh Hook. One thing that I was gonna say earlier, I did hint on it, I would like to see the teleporting CS with the Flame Sword to counter this Bow Strangler Warrior Brood, but I suppose so far Arthur hasn't really put on too much pressure with it, so perhaps Luna's just going to wait. Going to get Chains of Torment in Tier 2, combine it with Doom Bolts and Dark Flames and Grenade Launchers, and rely instead on Bloodletters to do the jumping in and the dealing with the Warriors. Bloodletters, of course, great unit in general, doesn't really matter what matchup you're playing, but in terms of getting a unit to counter Bow Strangler Warrior Brood, oof. Bloodletters will do that very, very effectively. So we see the Warriors are actually putting out so much value. They're really good on this map because of the line of sight blockers. I mean, you can put them up here and the CSM can't even shoot them, but they can shoot over the wall and hit the CSM. Ironically, it makes them a fantastic counter to the Chaos Heretics with the Grenade Launchers. GL ticks do have longer range than these warriors though, so they can in theory stay away. You're going to see that now. So you see how the ticks are hitting the warriors can't retaliate because they don't have the range, which of course is quite needed for the warriors. Ooh. Oh wow, I was going to say, good timing on the retreat, but even with the retreat losing a model there, what's going on over here? We got Adrenal Gland Homogots fighting the Aspiring Champion Heretics. The Heretics will win that one. And still no upgrades on the Termagants. I find that very strange. Lictor has managed to secure the entire north of the map. I would like to see him noding that power point, which he does. Arthur is currently floating a lot of requisition. Wonder how he's going to spend that in Tier 2, I mean. Rippers normally are a fairly obvious solution, but not really particularly useful here because Luna's fielding a near all melee army. I mean, he does have one Grenade Launcher, he has one CSM, but they're not the threat. The threat is definitely the Heretics and now the Bloodletter as well. Let's see. Potential for a wipe here on the Sorcerer. No, he does retreat timely. Even with the Stalk Global, I don't think the Lictor would have got it there. So Arthur's seen the Bloodletters now. He was considering going in, choosing a little fight with that CSM squad, but yeah, seeing the Bloodletter was like, maybe not. Maybe not, and I think that's a wise decision. Termagants finally getting their Toxic Sacks. Should have honestly got that a long time ago. 30% extra range damage. I mean, for the cost, honestly, this upgrade is a steal. I mean, just for the 30% damage, for Christ's sake, you'd almost get it. You probably would. Never mind for the HP buff and the Crippling Poison as well. So we've got Lone Hunter now. Is this a newer visual effect for the Lone Hunter? The fact that he's alone now, he has the typical buff, sort of orange buff circle. I'm assuming it must be. I've never seen that before. Interesting. When did that happen? Am I crazy? Let's see if this goes away when the Homogots come near. Yeah, it does. Cool! So you can see a buff circle for Lone Hunter. I like that because look at Lone Hunter, man. It's such a powerful upgrade. 40% more damage and 25% less damage taken. I mean, oh, such a powerful upgrade. If you aren't prepared for that, you don't mathematically account for that in your head, that buff swings fights that you normally would win. So yeah, you got to be ready. I already know the fucking audio is going to be very problematic for this video and it's stressing me out, but I didn't even have time to fix the audio things and normalize them. Look, we'll do that over the next few weeks, guys, I'm sorry. We'll get it done. It's been a really busy end of year. Lovely, lovely flesh hook there to finish off the Bloodletter squad. I don't really know what the Bloodletter squad was doing there. Massively overcommitted. Obviously, it was pursuing the Warrior Brood, but man, you've got to have some support for it. There was nothing with it. It just teleports straight in. Obviously, it just gets crippling poisoned. Hormagaunts were ripping them to pieces because they weren't fighting back against the Hormagaunts. Yeah, just a really bad engagement there from Luna. And he's punished for it. I mean, lost the CSM, lost a bunch of ticks, and unfortunately had his entire Bloodletter squad wiped. That said, if we're looking at other parts of the game, the VPs are looking very favourable for Luna right now. 396 VPs for him with a triple cap. Arthur really needs to get on with capping the map. I don't know what he's doing, to be honest. Hormagaunts on this side wiping the heretics. Oh, must have been a missed micro mistake from Luna there, because the AC heretics should be able to deal with Hormagaunts quite easily on their own, even if the Hormagaunts are level 3, so must have been capping the point. And then they got attacked by the Hormagaunts and wiped. We've seen a little bit of the interesting gambit there where the Doombots were placed slightly behind the Warrior Brood because Luna anticipated that Arthur would actually dodge them by moving away, but Arthur didn't, he just stood there. And ironically that helped him dodge the Doombots. Should be suppressing the CSM right now. There's absolutely no reason to be suppressing the Sorcerer there. He's clearly not intending to move forward. But yeah, army-wise, Luna can't really do a whole lot about this. I mean, are we going to see a crippling poison? And not the best reactions from Arthur right now, but that's why this is a sloppy Saturdays. And Luna's going straight for a Predator tank, which could be problematic. We'll have to see. I mean, generally Nids do suffer against transports and tanks, and if we look at the roster right now for Arthur, he can get the electroshock grubs on the Warrior Brood, which gives him that snare, but unfortunately the Warriors are a lot slower than a tank. So in theory, as long as Luna micros the tank appropriately, it should never get stared. Of course, there's heavy melee on the field here with the Tyrant Guard, but again, Tyrant Guards are slower than tanks. You micro the tank properly, going to capture the Tyrant Guard you're never going to capture the tank with the Tyrant Guard in melee, so it's a problem for Arthur. He needs to get Venom Brood, of course. I'll go tier 3. Gene Stealers is not going to help him. Okay, so he is going tier 3, but of course he's going to get to tier 3, which takes a lot of time. I always forget how long it is to tech up. Is it 90 seconds? Is it 70 seconds? I don't know. It's going to take him longer than a minute, and then he's got to wait to purchase the Carnifex. So there's a lot of time right now for the tank to roam around the map and do what it wants. The Tyrant Guard is just charging it right now, which kind of keeps the tank busy, pushes it away, zones the tank away from the army. But the Tyrant Guard, of course, yeah, I mean, it's taking damage this entire time. It doesn't have a way out, the Tyrant Guard. It can't retreat, so now it's going to get pursued by the tank and could just be basically chased into base and killed. Now, if we did have the Electroshock grubs, you could then run the Warriors up and zone the tank out with them, and have the Tyrant Guard back off to safety. But we don't see that upgrade yet. It is coming on the way, and Luna might be fearful of it coming on the way, or maybe not. I guess not. He's pursuing. Tyrant Guard goes into shield wall, but is quite late in doing so, and unfortunately there is no other AV on the field right now. So the Electroshock grub comes out, but unfortunately there's no follow-up, so the tank of course can just back off and be repaired. We do see incidentally the mark of Khorne there on the tank. 25% more cannon damage, 75% more bolter damage, and it gives 0.5 extra speed to the tank, making that tank super faster. Super faster? What? Super speedy. Oh, a slaughter used by the CSM, their buff that they get when they don't have a mark, but they have their Aspiring Champion. helps them kick the shit out of those Hormagaunts when they pull out those chain swords and actually finish them off there with the buffed bolter shots. Looking pretty good right now for Luna. He does lack numbers, but I dare say his troops are a little bit more elite than Arthur's. That said, if Arthur can get rid of the Predator tank, he might be in a decent spot. It's tricky though. How's he going to do that? Well, he's got an Electroshock Grub. Where are the Venom Brood? Oh, okay. Double Venom Brooder here. Luna was really slow to react there with his tank, letting it get Electroshock Grubbed, but really, there's no reason to let that happen. But it is now driving away. The Venom Brood don't appear to be in range. Oh, the tank is mismicroed! No! It tries rotating around, mismicroed his reversing on the tank, and it's going to be taken out by the double Venom Brood. Now, did either of them get ranged synapse? No, they didn't. So the beautiful thing now that Tyranids can get is they can get that Death Spitter upgrade on the Venom Brood because they didn't commit to the ranged synapse, and that's a nice buff. That is a nice buff for the Tyranids now. So you can get your default Venom Brood, an AV unit, wipe out the enemy vehicle with it, and before, you know, you could get ranged synapse, that's okay, it buffs your termagants, but it's not great to pay all that resources just to buff a couple of shitty termagants that aren't doing that much for you anyway. Well, now, you don't have to do that. You can actually get the Death Spitter upgrade, and you've actually got Inferno damage, which will contribute good damage to killing the Chaos Terminators. That said, power melee from the Gene Stealers will DPS the Terminators down a lot faster, but of course, you know, melee units a lot more vulnerable than heavy infantry ranged units. So we'll see. I think if Arthur gets double Death Spitters, he could actually win this still. Definitely has the DPS to take on the Terminators. We'll have to see. Lictor as well can do really good damage to the Terminators, especially when they're like this in ranged form, not in Lightning Claw form. But yeah, if they go Lightning Claws, then they gotta worry about double Death Spitters. That said, what's the Sorcerer got? Okay, the Sorcerer's actually got the Demon Armor. Really doubling down on just spamming Doom Bolts, I guess. You know, with the extra energy regen and max energy that you get from that Demon Armor. Is this double Gene Stealers? Oh my god, it is, isn't it? Wow, okay, crazy. What a horde army. So, we got one Death Spitter so far. Here we go, 24 DPS Inferno. That did actually get buffed in the recent patch that is out at this point, but I'm not casting replays from it yet. Not a major buff. I think it went up to like 26 DPS instead, so, you know, a little bit. Look at this. This is great. Look at the damage coming out. Termagants obviously not really contributing much here because Terminators are super heavy infantry armor. You can see the HP here. Now that the Death Spitters have been forced off, Termagants just don't do anything. And the splash as well from the autocannon, yeah, brutal against the Termagants. But Death Spitters there, basically on their own, did a lot of damage to the Terminators. Now, unfortunately, when you don't kill an actual Terminator model, the problem is they've got pretty damn good HP regen, so now they're going to heal up a little bit. So you got to get out quickly, get onto them. Ideally, you would tie them up as well. You know, if the Lictor was there, tying them up in melee during that time, oh my god, that'd be amazing. Lictor now having the Scything Talons, his highest DPS, Wargear 81.25 power melee DPS, so let's see how that fares. Gene Stealers on this side, just chilling, guarding the contested power point. I keep calling them power points, why do I keep saying that? Contested victory point. Gene Stealers here, just guarding the requisition for a while. I guess they're going to come up with this big Tyranid push right now. Do we have the red for nukes? It doesn't matter. Why am I looking at the red for nukes or the nids? They're still tier 2. Okay, so the Lictor's going to lead the charge. Flesh hooks the Sorcerer, but not before the Sorcerer gets off a pretty nice warp fire from his Rod of Warp Fire. Doesn't kill any models. We're going to see the Demon Armor's shield go down. What's it called? Demonic Shield. Fitting. Doombolts go down to the Gene Stealers, which I find questionable. I think you should have been Doombolting this ranged blob. Looks like the CSM get wiped at this point, and now Terminators are in a terrible position. You know, that autocannon melts Termagants. Not great, though, when you are stuck in melee with Gene Stealers. And then you've got Death Spitters coming up from behind, still rocking the normal Venom cannons on this Venom Brood squad. I guess that is a nice hedge, especially because there is actually another Chaos Predator. So let's see. I don't know if Arthur has sorry, I don't know if Luna has realised that there aren't double death spears here. One of these is actually venom cannons still, and the Chaos Predator is realising that very quickly, taking a huge amount of damage there immediately, and has to be warped out by the Chaos Sorcerer's global ability. Now going to be upgraded to the Mark of Nurgle, repaired a little bit by the Heretics. Be back in the action soon. Luna has a lot of time. Luna has 282 VP still. Arthur is under a little bit more pressure with 94 VP. He's actually pushed up there with his Gene Stealers to bash a few of the generators. Not a bad play actually, because Luna has actually been pumping out a lot of expensive tier 3 units, so Luna is actually kind of lacking in power right now, which you don't often see in a 1v1. Arthur is going tier 3. I don't know if he's ever going to actually be able to get anything out. Doesn't have a lot of time to do so. Still, as long as he can hold this VP, he's fine. He's got these Gene Stealers constantly rotating to the contested VP, which I actually really like. You can see when they go passive, they infiltrate, which is obviously great for guarding a VP when you've got a unit this speedy and this high damage. You can set up some nice wipes with that. But here we go, we've got the Nurgle tank now. So this thing gets reduced speed, but it gets way more health, 75% more HP, and it regens 3.5 HP per second, which is nuts when you consider that it's vehicle armor. You know, every HP of vehicle armor is way better than HP of any other armor. So it is very tanky. It even gets melee resist as well, which could be relevant when we see tier 3, because in tier 3 Gene Stealers can get rending talents, which gives them heavy melee. Still, the reduced speed is kind of awkward, because it means you actually can't outrun melee anymore. So here we go, we've got Venom Brood shooting at it. That's just one Venom Brood so far. Really need to deal with this blob. Here come Bloodletters. Ooh, and the Doom Bolts. This could be big. The Doom Bolts didn't do that much damage. We've got level 2 Warrior Brood right now with a 4x Swarm, giving them extra HP, but it looks like the Tyranid forces are routed in this instance. 2 of the Venom Brood models go down. Rippers were in that fight as well. I didn't even notice. They're getting killed. Gene Stealers did kill one of the Terminators. Terminators are then warped out by the Sorcerer's Global Bar. Gene Stealer's now looking in a bad spot. You see, the other thing that's beautiful about the Nurgle Predator is the bolters get damage over time. Stinky Nurgle damage over time, and that of course does a lot better damage to retreating units than one would typically expect. Oh, feels bad, man. Don't know if it was that desperate, Arthur. Jesus. Uses his nuke there to prevent the cap on the Bloodletters. They just phase out. Oh, fuck me. Mate, you've got 94 VPs. Chill out. So at least he's getting the buffs now from the towers, but the Predator tank is doing some work, taking out a few of them. Warriors are taking a lot of poke. Blob moving through that damage over time as well. Not ideal. So an electroshock grub does go off, but the tank is getting repaired and it's sitting in the demon shield. Wow, look at how little damage it's taking. Holy shit. That demon shield plus the 3.5 HP regen, then 10 from being repaired, that's kind of crazy. Just tanking those venom shots. Arthur needs something tier 3 and he needs it quick. Now the good thing for Arthur is that Luna isn't really contesting the contested VP. I feel like my commentary is terrible this game, Jesus Christ. Luna's not contesting the contested VP. But that is good for him. What he should be doing though, perhaps instead of capping this PowerPoint, he should be getting on this frigging VP that he dropped a nuke on to stop Luna from capping it. If it's that big of a deal to not have Luna cap it, why don't you cap it yourself, my man? I think it's more important right now than the PowerPoint when you've got 150 requisition, 214 power. And Arthur's doing the classic pro players here. He's gone tier 3 and going for a zone throw up. As you do. As you do. Yep. Makes sense. Definitely go tier 3 and get a zone throw up every day of the week, me. Love it. You know, why would you want a Carnifex? Why would you want a tier 3 Lictor with the extra capping speed and the heavy melee to punish the slow Nurgle Predator? Why would you want something like that when you could just get a super, uber powerful Zone throw up. Yes, lad. Look at them teeth. Kind of crazy Nashes on the zone throw up. Could you imagine being eaten to death by a zone throw up? That'd be wild, man. Like, levitates you in place, paralyzes your muscles, and then just starts chomping on you. Shit. Well, is he going to be able to do it? I don't know. See, now the bloodletters are going down to the contested, and dual bloodletters is going to be able to beat one Gene Stealer. Gene Stealers aren't even there to stop him. So it's going to come down to this situation as usual on this map where they're just holding the two VPs. You know, Arthur's just going to send his entire army here, hold these VPs. Not really sure about this Chaos Terminator pick. I'm not sure. I don't really feel like they've done that well. I think the Lightning Claws probably would have been better than the autocannon, but we'll have to see. Arthur's not doing anything right now. I mean, well, he's pushing up, but he's sort of only using a few of his forces. Okay, Gene Stealers are going to go back to the contested, everything else is charging up front. Probably should have led with the Rippers and not the Gene Stealers here, but what can you do? Does actually manage to get the Electro Shock grubs. Gene Stealers are now in melee with the Terminators, which is good for them. They're quite low HP. Nurgle Predator's doing Nurgle Predator things, super tanky. Arthur at this point is evidently getting quite overwhelmed by the micro. Bit of backlash comes out, knocks over those Termagants, persuades them both to retreat. Lictor's going to tie up the Terminators, but he's actually going into base at this point, which is not great for him. He's just going to get suppressed by the turrets. And Zone throw up's AFK. These guys were AFK for a long time. They're going to now chill out here. Gene Stealers have rotated to the contested VP, but it seems they're not really sure what they want to do. Which is fair enough, to be honest, because, like I said, they can't take on 8 bloodletters. So probably just going to keep an eye on that VP, wait for the bloodletters to leave, and then make the opportunity. Quite questionable usage of the Warp Global there. I don't really think that was necessary. Oh dear. Yep, Gene Stealers go for the decap there, but it's not going to work. Jumped on by the double bloodletters. They got to get out of there. Zonefrop doesn't manage to make it out from the Terminators. I gotta admit, I'm a little bit baffled by the Zonefrop choice. It's a curious one to say the least. I don't really like this play by Arthur, the way he's splitting right now. I feel like he needs to just send all of his army to these two VPs, because I'm not sure this army here, without the support of the Gene Stealers or the Lictor, can deal with the Terminator Predator combo. We'll see. Now we've got Subjugation as well, which could be problematic. Suppress the Tyranid blob. Yeah. Not too ideal, to be honest. Another Dark Flames, which Arthur isn't really dodging. He's getting the contested VP, but he's doing that thing again where he's not capturing this point, which is really hurting him. I don't know why he's not microing. Move your things, my man. Probably because he's too busy focusing on this side of the map, but that's an easy fight. Just click one Gene Stealer onto one Bloodletter, there you go, you win. You know? Shouldn't take too much attention. I think dodging all the AoE spells and shit would have been a lot more important, but, you know, can't all be as pro as Arthur with his zone throw. So we got the counterfeits coming out at last, but my god, it is quite late. Now would be a lovely time to use that Tyranid formation instead of earlier, but 19 VPs, 18 VPs, 17 VPs is all that's left for Arthur. He needs to move out really quickly. I don't actually think he's got the time, to be honest. Remember, if the VPs get underneath 7, he's fucked. The Lictor, of course, infiltrates, so, you know, he needs to do it. What is he doing? Why is he stopped? GG. Game over. I don't know what that was right there. Why would you not just give it a go? Okay. Yeah. Maybe you didn't realise the VPs had got that low. So, yeah, that was a sloppy Saturdays. Oh my fucking god. Okay, what do you think of that, guys? I don't even know what I thought of that, to be honest. That was baffling to me in many ways. I think what were some of the best plays? What were some of your favourite plays in this game? Please comment down below. I think my favourite play for this match was certainly the teching to tier 3 to get a zone for up and to Tyranniform a lone Bloodletter squad capping a VP, which just phases out. Okay, that's 2 plays. They're both my favourite. Thank you for tuning in, folks. That is all from your boy Torpid today. May Nurgle bless you, and may Slanesh bless you. Yeah. Top it out.